Hello, everybody. I'm Raja Kumari. I know you know who is sitting next to me, the great
Hello.
Madhuri Dixit. Hello. And today, as a fan and someone that is, involved in making the music that's about to come out, I just wanted to sit here and ask the questions that I know you are dying to know. And I wanted to take this chance to ask MD more about why we are now entering the world of music.
Well, I grew up listening to music because my mom is a Hindustani vocal singer and she did a BA and then MA with music, and there were times when we used to go with her for these various classical programs and listen to so many good singers like Vasant Rao, Deshpande, Bhimsen Joshi ji and Kishori Amonkar, the works. And there was a lot of musical influence on us. I used to fall asleep during the concerts, the classical concerts. They used to go on till 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. And apart from classical dancing, which I have learned since I was 3, this was also something that was a part of me because I was so exposed to it because of my mom. And there were times when my mom used to sit and sing classical and used to sing the cheese, like the faster version of the songs with her. And so there was a lot of musical influence. But since I went to an English-speaking school, a convent school, which was run by nuns, we were also exposed to a lot of English music.
Wow.
And I grew up listening to ABBA, Boney M, Jethro Tull, Simon and Garfunkel. We listened to Barbra Streisand, we listened to Michael Jackson and Diana Ross and all these greats, and that's what we grew up listening to, along with all the classical influence of Hindustani music that I had. And I think somewhere for me as an artist, acting is a part of what I do, dancing is a part of what I do, and music is a part of what I do. And it's an extension of me because it's another way to express yourself.
Exactly. When you were just speaking about all your influences, your eyes were lighting up. And I think that people at home are probably so stoked to hear you say all those artists, because there are artists today that are putting out music that don't even know those references.
Right.
So there's so much authenticity to, your love of American music. And I actually didn't know it's because you started at a Catholic school, so you were exposed to English music.
Yes,
at the same time.
And while I listened to classical music and sang classical with my mom, in school I used to sing English songs on stage.
Amazing.
And I've done a lot of competitions and won a lot of competitions in school.
Yes, of course.
I have sung ABBA, I have sung, Olivia Newton-John.
What was the
Let
first
Me
song?
Be There. The first song I sang on stage was by ABBA.
Wow.
And it was Ring, Ring, Why Don't You Give Me a Call.
Okay.
And there was another one, As Good As New. So I had sung that in a competition and won. So I remember all these songs.
Do you feel like before, when you were making films, there wasn't an outlet necessary for music? Do you feel like you used to love your karaoke times? Is that when you would let loose?
Yeah, the funny thing is my brother migrated to the US when I was still in school, so it was 82. And he used to send me cassettes of songs that he liked. And he used to say, can you practice this and sing this and send it to me? So I used to practice those songs, and a lot of them are country music songs.
Wow.
So I used to practice those, record it for him, and send it back to him.
That's
so, this would be our kind of a mail, to each other, basically. And so I used to do that. Done a lot of singing,
Is there
actually.
any chance those tapes still exist somewhere?
I don't know. They were tapes.
We
I
need
mean,
to,
I don't know.
we
We'll
need to find out. We need to dig deep. And actually, being someone that has worked with you, with your music and developing this whole project, actually you have a lot of country influence in your voice.
I do.
You do, in the way that you sing, the way you put down the notes. I noticed that very early with working with you, that I was like, wow, her voice is kind of made for country. The first song we did,
yes,
Here and Now.
Here and Now.
That when you opened your voice up, it was like, oh my God, it's
yeah, because he used to send me songs by Linda Ronstadt, or I hope I'm saying it right.
No, you know more names than me. I'm like, damn, let me Google. I'm like, I have not studied American music the way that MD knows. So,
and Dolly Parton, and all these people, and so they were a big influence.
Yes,
my music.
So did you ever, when you were, but you started film quite early, your first film, you were 15 or 16, right?
Yeah, I was 16, 17.
17, yes. So it's before the film, when you imagined yourself living your life and you imagined yourself in your greatest form, did you ever see yourself as a singer?
Well, because I used to sing in school.
Yeah, but did you imagine?
Yeah, and so I used to have a brush in my hand.
Yes.
The typical cliche kind of a thing.
That's amazing.
Where, in the bath and all, I used to pretend as if I'm singing, and yeah, kind of a bathroom singer as well.
I love that so much, because when we look at you and we see all the things that you've accomplished, I love that you're still dreaming and that you haven't given up on one of your childhood dreams.
Yeah.
And that like now it's like, it's just you keep breaking the boundaries and breaking the barriers and allowing us all to realize that art is eternal.
It's eternal. It's never too late, I think, for anyone.
Yes.
And to pick up any form of art. My mom, she is like turning 90 this year, and she picked up painting like 3 years ago.
Yeah, that's right.
And she's someone who can't see very well, and she still loves to paint. There's a teacher who comes and guides her, and she does her paintings. And I think it's a great outlet for your soul also. It's great for your soul to do any form of art, whether it's a musical instrument, or you use your voice as an instrument, or you sing, or you dance. Any form of art is great for you.
I feel like we started this journey, now we realized almost 7 years ago, which we didn't realize it had been that long. I think there's been such an evolution of not only you, but your whole family with music. Like I feel like music you've shared with the fans that it is such a large part of your life. We got to see you release Candle during the pandemic, which was a very important song. And I think it meant a lot to a lot of people, for you to release that during that time, because
yes, also, the song, like we had sat down and talked about this, and it's part of being, in the limelight, because you could have any form of turmoil going on in your own life. But once you're in front of people, once you're in front of the camera, you have to be the beacon of light for everyone.
Exactly.
You have to shine bright. You have to say, hey, everything is fine, and you're going to be fine too. So, and that's what all the nurses and doctors did at that time.
Exactly.
We felt an empathy with them, saying that, we need to do something for them. And that's how we released the song, because it talked about what they were doing.
How did you feel when you released your first song? I mean, like obviously Tu Hai Mera is your first single, but I think like Candle, like releasing that during that time, that was almost a gift to the people. But when you heard people hearing you sing in your recorded form, like how did that make you feel as an artist?
Well, there was a mixed feeling, because I don't think people have heard me sing in English.
Yes.
They've always seen me on screen singing in Hindi.
Yes.
And that too with somebody else's voice.
But sometimes yours.
Yes,
sometimes yours.
Yes, and Devdas and Gulab Gang.
Yes.
I did sing.
Yes.
I did the Kavit part in Devdas, and then I sang a little Rangi Sari. Yeah, all that.
Yes, all of it.
And I sang Rangi Sari for Gulab Gang. But apart from that, I mean, they had not really heard me sing as such, and that too in English. So of course there was that feeling whether people will accept that, and I think, but once the song released and people heard it, of course there were a lot of different kind of reactions, and some people loved it. They loved the low baritone in the song, and so they appreciated what I say at that point.
I think that when people actually hear this whole body of work, it wasn't something that you could just make on your, like it couldn't be something you could just make overnight, you know? I think that something that struck me, and when we started the project, was first how much music had been a part of your life.
Yes.
It wasn't like you just woke up one day and was like, I'm bored, I want to be a pop star.
No.
It was like, I have been studying music. Music is a part of my life. My family is immersed in music, and now I want to express this part of me. And I remember when we sat down to write the music, because for everyone to know that, Madhuri was involved in all the writing of all the songs. We sat down before every song and talked about like, what are those emotions, I think what I was fascinated, I'll just bring it back, as one of your super fans, there was a time period that I was super fascinated with, was when you left to America after you got married and you had your kids and you were living almost kind of anonymously in Colorado.
That's right.
I'm sure there would be some people that would know, but it was probably the first time that you had a chance to kind of take a break from all of it.
Yes.
I feel like that time period is where this album, like where the emotions of this album are really from, or like they start there in some ways.
Yeah, they start there because, once you're away from what you're doing and you are in a different environment and doing something very, very different, you start going back, and you start thinking about, all the experience that you had and all the experiences that you, went through. How do you put that into words, and how do you talk about it?
Exactly.
And and music is something so close to me, not only because I've learned to
Yes.
dance. I mean, when you dance, music is very important.
Yes, of
But
course.
also because it tells stories.
Mm.
You know, when you sing, it's your voice, it's your emotion, it's your expression. And I thought it would be a great idea to sing those emotions rather than just talk about them. You know,
Do you find that that process was very empowering? Because maybe we've always heard the stories of the characters that you know, we were
Yes.
playing to the T. I mean, you embodied them and you made them come to life for us. But I think maybe for the first time when we were writing these stories, they were very much personal. Like, was it hard to be vulnerable like that?
it's hard to be vulnerable because, you know, people have known me as a very strong person, and, you know, I have that persona. She's always smiling, she's always happy, she's always, you know, but there's so many things going on in your lives that you cannot really, you know, talk about all the time. And so I thought, you know, what best way than to express. And when you came on board and we talked about it, and, you know, the way we went about making these songs too, from scratch. We had a little bit of music piece. Sometimes we didn't even have that.
Yeah.
We had the words.
Mm-hmm.
We had the emotion first, then the words came, and then the music. And one of the songs, like Tu Hai Mera, we had the music first.
We had the music.
And then we thought, what do we want to talk about? This music is upbeat, and you know, it talks about, so what is it that we want to say? And I said, you know, my fans, they have always supported me. They have, you know, always been there for me, and I want to do something for them and write about that, right? My emotions about them, because they are always telling me what they feel like.
Yes.
But I have never really actually come out and said all these things that I feel about them. And I thought that would be a great, the rhythm and everything was like so easily translated to that. And so that's what we did.
That song came together.
Yes.
In a really real way. And I think that that was such a beautiful idea, to write a love song back to your fans, because I am the super fan number one. So personally, I was like, I am so happy to be here, you know, for this moment.
Yeah.
But I think that we really pushed ourselves on the lyrics, and we really pushed ourselves on the vocals. And I hope that all the musicians that are listening to this project as it rolls out, Tu Hai Mera, and all the songs that we created, that you pay attention to how much work went into the actual recording. And I want to applaud you, because there was a lot of work. It wasn't like you just came in and did one take and we fixed it on the computer.
Right.
We spent time. You know, there was a lot of vocal
you know,
training.
before we got into the studio, I trained with Ron Anderson.
Yes.
Who's a great vocal trainer for everyone from Ariana Grande to Weekends to Celine Dion. I mean, you name it, and he has worked with them. So I did a lot of rehearsals with them, trained my voice, so that when we go into the studio, there's no issue. And of course, Raja was there because she's also a classical dancer. It was such a good fit, actually.
It was a great
because
fit.
some notes, like she used to say, it's like this.
You have to place it.
Place it there.
You can't just drop it. You always place the
Place
hand.
it.
Yes, and it snapped for you.
It just I just understood what she was saying. It was so much fun being in the studio and recording, and though I think the first day I was a little you know, apprehensive.
You were apprehensive. I was like,
it was something new for me to do, and you know, it's always a little
but
you're excited too, but you're also like, oh my God, you know, we should be able. And also because we are so conscious that whatever we put out has to be our best.
Yes.
It has to be the best you can give, and that's always been my motto, and that's what my mom has always taught me. So we always try to do the best. I mean, we kind of pushed ourselves.
Exactly.
You pushed me a lot, and no, you can do it. You can do it.
Yeah.
Come on, let's hit this note. Let's do this. Let's do that. And I think it was so much fun.
It was so much fun. And I think also something that was really amazing to watch is that you were bringing together all the different things that you knew. Like, when you're acting, you can put so much emotion in your voice. And then when you're singing, some people are not able to translate that, but you were able to put the details. And I could see your study of, you know, your voice through like your acting, and then also like your rhythm through dance, and then also you as an artist and a creative, and also for the first time being someone who is telling her own story. It was just really exciting to be a part of it. And, you know, at that time, you know, when we did this, I had not even released any songs in India yet. I had like barely any following. You know, I was just songwriting a lot, and I knew that I wanted to be in India. And I think I've told this story a lot, but I am in India today, and I have my entire career today because MD opened. No, I would say that because for me, being in India was the most important thing for me to grow as an artist, and I would not have been, comfortable enough to be here without your support. So this project is very personal to me as well. Like watching you release this is
and
huge.
It's wonderful that two creative people came together who you grew up there, right?
Yes.
And I grew up here, but we both are classical dancers. We both love what we do. You sing. I never used to sing, but I sang.
You were always singing.
But, yeah.
You were always singing.
Not professionally, but yes. But it was great because two similar kind of people came together, and we kind of vibed, and we knew what we wanted to do, and how we are going to go about it, and it just happened actually. I think sometimes destiny, like I said, there's a lot of things in life, being at the right place at the right time, getting the right opportunities, but destiny also plays a very big role.
And patience.
Because
the project, it took some time to get it all together. But I think just to have this, to ask you some questions about the process, making the album was like we were making a label. Like we went through the whole process of learning about the music business. I remember standing and writing on the whiteboard and being like, this is publishing, this is where the master goes. And at that time I knew it, but I didn't know it that well. So I was like learning it to teach it. So it was a huge time period. But I think talking about making this project, the driving force behind it, and Dr. Sriram Nene, I don't think this music would even be here without him. So.
Absolutely. If he wouldn't have pushed me to do this, it wouldn't have happened.
He pushed all of us.
Yes. First he pushed me into it and said, you can do it. I heard you sing. You sing so well, all that. I mean, he's the one who actually pushed and nudged me to this, because he said, I know you can sing and you sing well, and it's part of who you are, and why don't you explore that as well, because you're an artist and you should have the whole gamut of whatever you do, and also because you're so good with emotions, and when you sing you can give it that whatever the ups and downs that you need for singing songs, and you have that in you, and why don't you do it? And so if he would not have pushed me, I don't think this would have happened.
Listen, the way that he believes, and also it was just very sweet to watch, because it's so nice to see a husband that supports his wife so entirely.
Absolutely.
And just wants you to grow. And he would always be like, she's been in 70 films and she's the best in the world. And you know me, because I'm super fan. I'm like, yes, I agree. I'm in. We're going to do it. It was so much fun for me, because I felt like Sriram and I got to be super fans together. So that was a lot of fun. But I think I learned about manifestation and sheer belief from Sriram during that time, because that was really early in my time in India. And I remember just how much he believed in it, that it fueled all of us.
Yes, it did.
It did.
And the funny thing is, I was in Sad Bisla's office.
Yeah.
And we were talking about various things, what I can do there and stuff like that. And Ram said, she sings very well and she can do this and she can do that. I said, okay, can you sing? Why don't you sing something for me? And that's when I sang for him, and he's like, oh my God, you have a good voice.
Yes.
You have to do something. You have to sing. You have to get into the studio. And so that's where suddenly I felt, oh my God, this is seriously happening.
You're like, it's not karaoke anymore.
It's not
These
karaoke.
men are crazy. They're going to make me do this.
Yes.
And that's it. I'm going to live my ABBA dreams now.
Absolutely.
That's it.
And it's happening.
It's happening. It's definitely happening. Tu Hai Mera is written as a love song to your fans. I just want to know, when you put this out in the world, what do you hope people feel when they hear it?
I think happiness. That's the. We've been through rough times.
Yes.
These past 2 years have been so bad ever since COVID struck, and we were completely under lockdown, and there's so many things people went through, so many bad things people went through. We try to be more creative during the time. A lot of people try to do that. A lot of people couldn't. A lot of kids, they were in school. They were not in school.
Yeah.
They were on virtual school. And there were a lot of mental health issues during that time. And so I think what I want from this is people to feel the happiness. It's like all the love, everything that they've given me over the years, I've kind of bundled up into one little thing and trying to give it back to them as piece of happiness, or
it's like a humble offering.
Yes, humble offering.
A humble offering. So that's it, a humble offering of music. Well, I want to thank you so much for talking to me and today about this. I think your fans have insight into the artist that you are and who you're going to become and what you're going to show us. And we're so excited to take this journey with you. And I want to thank you for making this music, because you're teaching us that there is no limits to dreaming.
Absolutely.
And that we should never give up on our dreams, and that art has no restrictions and no limits.
Absolutely.
And if you're a dancer or an actress or a musician, you should just make art for the world.
Absolutely.
That's what you've taught me. Okay. Me signing off, Raja Kumari, #1 Madhuri Dixit fan in the world. Love you guys. Hope you guys enjoy the music. We poured our heart and soul into it, and we're just happy for you guys to hear it. Tu Hai Mera.
Absolutely. Tu Hai Mera. Love you.